Well, good morning, church. It has been a while, I believe. The first thing, as always, that I want to do is to acknowledge with gratitude our good God's present in each one of you. I consider it a special blessing to close off 2023 with my church family here at Church on the Hill. Thank you. It's such an honor. Yes, what better way to close off the year and prepare for the new than by making the time to thank our good God for bringing us through the many challenges and the many blessings within many circles of life, both locally, within this community, our city, state, country, and world. One who is present at every moment. Let us call to mind one challenge we faced this past year, one blessing that touched our lives more than anything else, both individually and as a community. How God brought us to it to bring us through it. I have a special memory right here. One thing, I just have to share this with you, was an event that happened with a song I wrote about 5 years ago. The sun of justice will rise on you today with healing wings. I don't know if you remember. I sang it here. And the first time, it was in front of many people who were in solidarity with people without homes and people who were experiencing a homeless day as well. This was the longest night. This past January 12th, this year, I had the opportunity to actually sing it, you'll never guess where. No, just a few streets over at the Area A police station holding cell. Yeah. There were 4 stunning things that happened to me that evening, and this was one of them. Reverend Lisa, whom I was with from the Faneuil Hall Reconciliation Project, in order to pass the time away, I said, would you like me to sing a new song that I've written? And guess what it was? The sun of justice will rise. Well, I did not realize that the sound, which really echoed off the walls and sounded like a recording, it was just beautiful sound, was also floating through the narrow, oblong opening in the door and out into the corridor. It just so happened that police officers were leading a very belligerent prisoner. He was banging, swearing, kicking, yelling. Well, I just kept singing. And soon, very soon, there was no noise at all. What do you think happened? What do you think?
Tased them.
What?
He tased them.
Maybe, I don't know. Well, there was, and it wasn't until after I was posting my bail that one of the police officers asked me, what was that song I was singing? Because that song quieted and calmed that prisoner down just like that. Isn't that amazing? Really? Really? So the impact of that particular song, sung from the holding cell. Can you believe it? And all of those officers heard it too. And so did the other prisoners down the hall, which unbeknownst to me. Anyways, and this is the song that I first sang here 5 years ago. Somehow, with God's grace, the prisoner was able to stop yelling, to quiet down. I never found out who he was or even what happened to him. But the police officer did. I call that sudden transformation, I call that soul stretching, which is my theme for today, okay? That's my theme. And I'm going to be using this especially as my theme, and it comes from Joyce Rupp's book, Return to the Root, Reflections on the Inner Life. But before I get into stretching of one's soul, I just have to sing that song, okay? Is that all right with you? My voice isn't the best today. However, I'll do my best from your example. All right. Oh, the sun of justice will rise on you today. Oh, the sun of justice will rise in you today. Oh, the sun of justice will rise on you today with healing wings. Oh, with healing wings, with healing wings. Oh, with healing wings. I could go on all day and ask, what would you need to rise in you today? And people would just call out that word, and we'd insert that word. But I will continue. So, stretching of one's soul, stretching outward to the expanse of God, Creator, like stretching your hands outward, as that picture shows, toward the starry skies. Stretching inward to where your inner strength and source of inspiration resides in your soul, relying on a power higher and greater than oneself, a place to grow in deeper relationship, a loving relationship with our God. Stretching around, especially to the suffering people who both near and far, I can improve my range, my compassionate motion by suffering with people and suffering with earth as well. By alleviating actions that act with and on behalf of those in need, letting those closest to the pain lead the way and have the voice for change. For example, The Faneuil Hall Reconciliation Project has spurred on the resolution to change the name of Faneuil Hall. Guess what? It passed a few months ago. And some of you might have been at those demonstrations. And now, monthly city conversations about reparations and racial healing are taking place, which is in line with the Boston public apology for its role in the transatlantic slave trade. I would read that document. It's one of the best. Another stretching away from, and that's from the urge to always be right, to judge others, spread rumors, complain, and nurture, but instead move and stretch towards peace of mind and heart. Stretching toward a resilient hope that refuses to be thrown off course by the turbulence, division, and discord, and instead seeking kinship with other cross-racial communities, which have and are making it through difficult times together. And the last stretching beyond whatever keeps selfishness from being at home with God. Reaching out with a generous love that lubricates the joints of loving relationships, and also being nourished by the spiritual vitamin I call, and guess what that is? Prayer. Daily prayer. That, to me, is the spiritual vitamin. So stretching in all these directions will stretch our soul and enhance our spiritual well-being. And I'm looking at the time, and I'm just going to move a little bit faster. I'm going to talk about Anna. She was in today's gospel. Anna, 84 years old, and a widow who never left the temple, but worshiped night and day. And what she had to say, what she said was, she kept thanking God and spoke about the child to all who were waiting for the redemption of Jerusalem. And you know what? Because Luke doesn't, for whatever reason, he did not put any words, I don't know why, in Anna's mouth. But I found a beautiful poem. It's called Anna's Psalm, and it's written by Miriam Therese Winter. And this is what I think she would have said. This is the day which God has revealed. I am filled to the brim with joy. Into old age with its limitations, my God has remembered me. How long, O God, have I waited for a sure sign of liberation day and night, waited in hope, waited in faith for the dawning of this day. And now my heart has feasted upon the one who is my salvation. I have actually looked into a human face and have seen the face of God. No longer will I or any woman be the stepchild of religion. No longer will I or any woman be barred from the holy places or keep God's words burning like fire locked up inside my heart. For the one who has come is the word we preach to every generation, the word of truth and the way of life for all who are oppressed. Here is the glory of God. And we can say amen to that prayer. But it's beautiful how God chooses older women as channels of wisdom who share our good God's burning love for all. Even though in those days, women and children were counted as the lowest and the least. So how has Anna's presence been prophetic? How has she stretched to boldly proclaim to all who were in the temple that day that Jesus was the Messiah? Well, think of all the women elders in your own life who have taught you about God's deep love for us all. Who comes to mind? Perhaps if these women were still alive, there could be some expression of gratitude and appreciation, maybe a phone call or a card or a pop-in visit. And here's a good line. We have Annas too. Our Annas come into our lives also when we need them. They'll be there. It might be a phone call, a knock on the door, a letter delivered. These Annas will give us comfort and courage and much more. They are messengers from God, compassionate and faith-filled, and are not afraid to be with folks who are hurting, afraid those in need. By their hope, these Annas are there helping people everywhere overcome adversity through their constant companionship. And sometimes they have no idea that they are helping us with the pain that comes through tough news. So let's thank God for our Annas who come when we need them. And here's a question. Have we been an Anna for someone else? Maybe even unbeknownst. But that's how God works. Now, I did have something to say about Simon, but I'm going to have to let him go. But I'd be glad to especially talk to the men about Simon, because there's special messages, and really for all of us. I believe that God truly speaks through these elders who might not even be counted. We will never know sometimes. A time when we might receive an announcement like Simeon gave. Wow, that really hurt Mary, didn't it? Even a sword was going to pierce her own soul. How did she get through that? How did she get through that? And still continued on. And that's all I'm going to say. I love you and bless you. And may you find new ways during this new year, 2024, to stretch your souls, to stretch them upward, behind, around, in front of, before you. And may that stretching lead for you to do or to say the words or do the actions that might seem impossible. That will be the gift. Thank you.